All right, gonna start you off here with some looks. That camera, it looks like at least the clips were able to get back up. Let me show you here. This is going to be in Florida at Lakewood Ranch. This is south of Tampa Bay right there, so you can see some of that as it comes in. Another camera I'm going to try to pull up. This one has been pretty ominous. This is on land on the east side of Tampa Bay. Let's see if it'll play right here. Yeah. You can see everything just blowing by quickly, so the wind really pummeling through this area right there and the rain coming down. You're looking at about 140 mile per hour winds in these areas. So that is landfall still occurring now with Ian. For us, as we go through tonight, we're looking at the breeze that we have, nothing comparing to what we just saw there. Gusts of maybe up to 30 as we go through the overnight toward tomorrow morning. It'll pick up some more as we go through the day and into Friday. I don't expect a huge wind event for us, and then the rain looks like it's mainly going to be for farther east you are, unless something crazy changes. A lot of 70s out there. Quick look to show you. We have the dry air in place. Beautiful fall day out there. Again, it's been a little gusty. Farther south and east you go, you can see the winds gusting at 20 to 24, 25 at times. And there is the radar shot. Now, again, the farther east we go, definitely I think eastern parts of Georgia into South Carolina, maybe starting to inch into some of our area with the way the models are going with this. And there's the tornado watch as you get into the Atlantic part of Florida. The storm where I was just showing you there, those cameras, there was about one here and then one right here. So that's what we were watching is right. Well, we'll actually take that back. This is going to be Fort Myers. The camera, the first one was around in here and the other one was here. So what you were seeing is that wind wrapping on this side. Think about how much worse it is as you get around Fort Myers there. So the latest track shows this weakening, hopefully very quickly now that it's getting over land, going into tropical storm territory by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon. But now it's popping back out over the Atlantic, all right? And so this has been the trend for the past 24 hours or more, is to show this out over the Atlantic so it would keep some of its strength. Now that's good news if you have interest along the Georgia coast, because that would be more of an offshore flow. Hopefully that would help. Initially there would be onshore, but hopefully it would help with the tides and any of that if it matched up with a high tide for any sort of flooding there. This takes us into South Carolina, tropical depression, area of low pressure, but notice we are outside of the cone now. So now we're just looking to see what kind of exterior effects we would get, and the track is showing no intention of coming back toward the west at this point. This is going to be tomorrow night around midnight. The Euro is in blue. Here's the GFS down here. So the Euro's faster. It also leans a little bit more in toward us as we get into Friday afternoon. The GFS is now heading more up toward the Georgia-South Carolina line. We go through Saturday night and it falls apart. Now the graph model, which started this whole party off of going way out east here, and then the GFS and Euro have been kind of pulling over this way, shows tomorrow mid-morning as we go through the day. This one's also faster. Notice where we are. This is tomorrow at this time. It's already out over the Atlantic. We go forward into tomorrow midnight. Keep in mind, again, if this model's right, there is no rain here because there's a quick shutoff on the clean side of the storm. There's Friday morning, and then as we go through lunchtime, this zips on up into the Carolinas and falls apart. If that model is right, here's how the winds could play out. The gustiest stuff could actually be what we see as we go through tomorrow with 30 to 35 mile per hour winds. Obviously stronger as you get toward the eastern parts of Georgia into the Carolinas there. Now, let's talk about the severe threat. Okay, yeah, that's going to be on the dirty side on the Carolina coast. Now, if the graph model is right, rainfall totals will also be shifted way east to where we have goose eggs here. How about as we look at the GFS? Remember, a day or two ago, it was showing these kind of numbers here. Now it's shifting more toward the east. The Euro still has some rain leaning in more toward us a little bit this way. So again, it's going to depend on just how far east, because there will be either you have rain or it immediately shut off to nothing the farther west we go. So the 7-day shows this. Windy stuff through the day tomorrow. Maybe 40 mile per hour wind gusts, I think maybe tops as we go into Friday into Saturday. Maybe some rain. That's a 50-50 shot. We could end up seeing almost nothing. But Taylor earlier was covering, in the event that we go worst case scenario, how much rain we could see west of 75. Now we're talking east of 75. Kind of more worst case scenario, Taylor.
Yes, and we're taking a closer look at people, again, who live east of I-75 this time. But what I showed you earlier, and like Ben said, for the western counties and eastern counties, I'm about to show worst case scenario graphics. So in Baldwin County, you can expect up to 3 inches of rain with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. With higher wind gusts around the Baldwin County area, if in the worst case scenario, there could be power outages sometime as Ian rolls through. Heading out to Washington County, you could see some similar impacts as we could see in Baldwin County. Wind gusts would be up to 45 miles an hour, but the difference between Washington and Baldwin counties may be rain totals. In Washington County, since it's a little bit further east, up to 4 inches inches of rain could be possible in places. Again, power outages and downed trees will remain a possibility. In Lawrence County, rain totals will also be a little less, around the 3-inch rain. Wind gusts again near 40 to 45 miles per hour, with power outages and downed trees still possible. And last but not least, Johnson County. Here are your possible impacts. Again, worst case scenario, up to 4 inches of rain, wind gusts up to 45 to 50 miles an hour, and then power outages also possible. That's if Ian starts to track a little bit more to the west. For more on Ian's track and the forecast, head on over to 13WMAZ.com. And if Central Georgia does see impacts from Hurricane Ian or Tropical Storm Ian at the time, we want to see what's happening in your area. Send us photos and videos of damage. Of course, only take photos or record videos when it's safe to do so. Then send them our way. Text them to 478-752-1309. We'll share them during our coverage on 13 WMAZ.